Okay, so I'll take back from number 14. What two factors support the leaky pipeline? And the first factor that I was mentioning was the culture. The culture in which the women are born in and raised in has a big effect on their self-confidence and whether or not they will pursue a career into science and math. And also the environment which they are born in. If you're born into an environment or within a religion that women should be at home raising their kids, or the man goes out to work and the woman stays home, well, there are still a lot of women growing up in these kinds of cultural and environmental regions or places, and so it's part of their culture, so it's hard to break away from and go on to higher studies or to believe in yourself. If you're always told that you're not smart, you're not deserving, and you shouldn't, that you're not going to be able to go on to study more, you're not that sharp, yeah. And unfortunately, as to answer, the how we can stop it, well, it has to start with society itself and the values. Women have to step up, and push for their beliefs and what they want. And it's hard because they're born with the BS, so it's hard to go against it, but to be aware of it, Eileen says to be aware, and for the parents to be aware, and when you raise your kids, to make sure that sons and daughters are treated evenly, and men are encouraged, and daughter as well are the same thing. You don't put just the little boy in sport, in football or baseball, and not put the little girl in sport. She can do sports too. She can play soccer too, and she can be good at it too. So, that the awareness would be the first one. And she also mentions that the way the graduate school or structures, it makes it harder for women, especially later on when they continue to their master's and doctorate degree, and they have to do research, and they also having a family. Well, it's easier on men to be pregnant, having a family, and not missing work than it is a woman with all the doctor's appointments and stuff like that, and even how the pregnancy can affect you health-wise makes it hard for a woman to pursue higher education. And then once the baby is born and the woman is breastfeeding, it limits her how she can access to the career, as the men are already into their careers, and they don't need to, and they don't most of the time end up having to bring the kids to the doctor and stuff like that. So it changes, and until that whole mentality changes in society, and that men or women are treated even, then it's going to continue to persist. And one interesting thing is that she mentioned to conclude is, women, don't be scared to go in, because more women are going to go in the fields and become scientists and physicists and mathematicians and stuff like that. The more there will be women in the field, the more the standards will be raised. And as the standards are raised, they'll see the true value of women in the workforce. And the barrel story is a metaphor. It means that if you really have just one source of employment that you can draw from, there's only one place you can go to hire, and it's from the same background, same culture, same environment. You don't have diversity, so you're missing out on a lot of qualification. So therefore, the metaphor means that if you have one barrel, well, the cream of the crop is on top. It's always, the best is always on top. So if you have only one source and everybody's fighting for that in that same source, you eventually get to the bottom where you get not so much good prospect. But if you have many barrels, and a barrel, you have barrels that are made of women, barrels are made of African American, barrels are made of different religious background, different ethnic group, then you can take the cream of the crop on top of every barrel, and then your workforce is much more, it's much smarter, diversify, you get much better ideas, it raises the level of which your organization or your enterprise will be producing or servicing clients or whatever, just because you'll have there's a diversified workforce with diversified ideas, diversified culture, diversified background. So it gives you more, not less. On that, I'm going to go forward with the timing questions. So I got to start my... Okay, start. Describe a situation in which someone encourages or lack of encouragement had a significant impact on my life. 1 minute. Well, when I was in grade 8, and we're talking in 1975, so which is a long time ago, or even in primary school, I was very dyslexic. And in those days, they didn't really know how to know or how to investigate what was the problem, what was your problem you were having in school and why. So I was always thought to be lazy, not very intelligent, but I was very dyslexic and I had a very hard time, but I was very intelligent. And when I got into grade 8, they decided that I should not go to high school in a higher level because I will never go to university. That I should study at the just the regular level 50, where if you ever go to study, you can go to college, but it wouldn't be good enough to go to university. So that situation really affected me for a long part of my life, because I really thought I wasn't smart enough, So I'm going to go on to number 2. Describe a situation in which you experienced gender BS. I'm going to try to be quicker this time because I overshot last time. When I was working in the early 1990s, the company I was working for were going through a system change, like the operating system was changing. And I was put in charge of my own department as to train and answer questions on the new system and train the employees, including my own manager. how the system works. So I was trained first, and then I was going to train them. And then the first day that I started to give the lessons and the training, and my boss didn't understand the new system, and he felt inadequate. And he was an older person, and you have to remember in the 1990s, we're talking 25 years ago, it was old school. People got to be managers by going up the ladder instead of going to school. So he was having a hard time understanding what I was explaining in the new operating system, and he attacked me. And he said that I was no good and I was just a woman and I had no business telling him how to do and what to learn and all that. And he really flew off the wagon. So that was my first big experience as him underestimating my capabilities, you know. The third question is, what are some things that you personally can do to stop the leaky pipeline? I'm going to start the counter. What I can do is, whenever I hear in my family, my own nieces that want to go to school, or my friends' kids and stuff, is encourage them and tell them that any kind of career is not gender. It's all about, if you want to do it and study hard, and you'll succeed. And you're worth as much as the next person beside you, if not more. I believe that you're worth more. As a woman, if you're willing to go forward and to experience, because we're not pushed naturally. So if you're a woman and you want to go higher and further, then you want it more. And I would also, as a manager, when I will become a manager, I will make sure that when I hire, everything is equal, that I do not look at a man candidate higher than a woman candidate, or pay higher a man candidate than a woman candidate, or any other bias, ethnic or religion, cultural, anything. I think I will be very sensitive and being very careful not to encourage those pipelines. And what will be the effect if I cannot stop the leaky pipeline? What do I believe that would be the effect? Hold on, I'm gonna reset my start. 1 minute. Well, I believe that if we don't change right now and we don't start reversing that effect, is our children are still going to grow up in this environment, unhealthy environment, where male intelligence is paid more than female intelligence. So I think that if we continue, we're encouraging racism, we're encouraging inequality, we're encouraging oppression, and we're creating a substandard workforce, because you're not getting the diversity, you're not getting the cream of the crop of every barrel around. You're just, again, staying in your own, you're staying in your own custom and what you're accustomed to, and you're afraid of changing things. And I think change is good. When you have change, it makes people more creative, more innovative. They can find new ideas, and the more you diversify, the better it will be. So on that note, have a good evening. Bye-bye.